Hello, hello everybody. So today would love to share with you how to express oneself without blaming. Okay, the reason that this topic is quite a topic to talk about is because a lot of the times during conversations, conversations with other people, we would come into certain points or spots where we might get into an argument. And usually this kind of the beginning of these arguments, they are being sparked by blaming. Okay, but usually when we blame, be it subconsciously or unconsciously or even consciously, it's not that we are really trying to blame. The root, the core that we actually want from the action of blaming is actually we just want to be heard. We just want to be seen. And however, through our interaction with other people and due to certain traumatic experiences in the past, we might have adopted certain patterns that when we express ourselves, or say when we try to express ourselves, we might turn into blaming other people or receiving blamings from other people, right? That is something very common in human interaction. And so that is why I would love to share my personal understanding on how to express ourselves without blaming. That would be for very effective communication with anyone that we come across with in our lives. So now we will have 4 areas concisely and thoroughly. We're gonna talk about them. So in order to learn about how to express oneself without blaming, we first have to understand what is blaming, right? And then we also have to understand what is expressing. By understanding these 2 major keywords here, we would then come to the third part, which would be how to distinguish between blaming and expressing, right? We understand what blaming is and what expressing is, the fundamentals of them. But now we also have to learn how can we distinguish between them? What are certain scenarios, right? So in the third part, I would also share some examples for us to refer to. That would be, drawing in case studies from our daily lives. And then the fourth one would be how to utilize the distinguishment tool. Because now that, yes, we understand what it is, right? What is blaming, what is expressing, and then we also understand how to distinguish between the 2 of them. And then now it would come to a place for application. So how to utilize this distinguishment tool that we will talk about in the third part for our personal usage and application in our daily lives. Okay, so let's get started. First, what is blaming? What is blaming to you? I'm gonna ask you this question, like, give it a moment. You can pause the video to take a moment for yourself to reflect on what is blaming. Why do we blame? Why would we choose to blame but not actually just communicate? And why are people so prone to blaming each other, pointing fingers? And at the same time, is it actually effective? Does it actually help us to communicate effectively? If not, what can we learn from these experiences, and what can we improve on? Food for thoughts. So, what is blaming? Blaming is the actions involved in our behaviors, mannerisms, that when we don't want to look at ourselves clearly, when we are not aware of what our true intentions are, when we are not capable of expressing our true emotions and true feelings, that would then turn into blaming. So after all, in summary of what I just mentioned, all of these perspectives of giving birth to blaming, what is blaming then essentially? It is one's resistance to facing oneself, the truth. When we don't want to face any truth, that means resistance. And this resistance would then bring us to project out instead of internalizing anything that we actually need to understand within oneself. So then we will throw it out. That would then be projection to the external. So then we don't have to look within, right? That's one way of escaping, or I'll say avoiding. And so that would then become blaming, externalizing, right? I don't want to see it. I don't want to. It's your fault. It's your fault. So then I don't have to look within myself. I don't have to treat myself, right? I don't have to go within and see the ugly things that I actually have to see. So then that would become blaming, right? I can just throw it out to the other person. However, usually what the other person would also do, if they are also prone to using the method of blaming to escape from their own responsibilities, they would then blame you back. And so in this kind of scenarios, in these cases, it's just a tug of war. It's never gonna end. It's never gonna end. And this tug of war would not end, only it would come to pause. Okay? It would just pause because both parties, both sides are tired. After a while of the tug of war, they would stop for a while and then resume again. Right? That's just how it is in relationships. And so now that we understand what blaming is, right? Now the second thing, then what is expressing? After all, for all kinds of interactions and conversations, we actually just want to be heard. We just want to connect. But it's without the right tool, the right understanding of expressing, blaming would then take the place, right? So true expressing oneself, like to be truly expressing oneself, takes courage, and it takes a lot of self-understanding and also self-compassion. Because expressing oneself authentically, it is not easy, especially in this day and age, because a lot of people tend not to express themselves authentically. Not that they are weak, it's just that it does take time and patience and courage and a lot of other contributing factors. So it's not necessary to blame anyone or judge anyone or criticize anyone, because everyone is on their own journey and is at their own pace. So we just need to work on ourselves individually. And when we express, what is the point of expressing? That is something that we can all reflect on first, right? Why do we express? Because we want to bond with the people, right? We want to build a connection. We want to build a common ground that we can at least see each other eye to eye. But if without comfortable communication, effective interaction, we would, or say comfortable interaction and effective communication, right? Interchangeable. It could get us really frustrated. And not only that, it would really make us feel unseen and lonely, right? So expressing oneself is fundamentally is what we need as human beings in order to bond with other people. So it is something that is innate in each of us. We want to be included and have a sense of belonging. And it is through expressing we feel connected to whatever we feel drawn to, right? And at the same time, we feel heard, we feel seen, and that's how we grow together, when we bond and express ourselves individually and with each other, and then collectively. So expression is a very fundamental factor that helps oneself to grow and to feel loved. Okay, so that is what is expressing. You know, what is expressing? That's what it is. Now we understand the fundamentals of what is expressing. Here's the question. Then why would such a beautiful energy of expressing turn into blaming? Why would it end up this way? Why would the expressing end up becoming blaming? We talked about in the first part, which would be because I don't want to see myself. I don't want to take up the responsibility. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to look at it. And so I would just throw it out. I would just project it out, right? I just, that's your thing. That's you. And however, it's not going to work, right? We all know that. And it's not working. It just brings us more confusion and misunderstanding and pain. And sometimes even to the point that we feel left out. So that's the reason that we have to learn to distinguish what is blaming and what is expressing in daily scenarios, right? Only then we can consciously collect more data over time through this kind of observation. You can also observe how other people interact, like such as in a coffee shop or in a market, supermarket. If you see two people interacting, you can actually hear their conversation, their dialogues, and then you would realize, wow, okay, that's actually blaming. Or, oh, that's actually a good way of expressing. That's the art of eavesdropping. The art of eavesdrop. Anyways, so how to distinguish between blaming and expressing? So the way to distinguish blaming and expressing really comes down to the feelings. Because like if you understand how you feel, you would then be able to very quickly locate where you are. First, where you are speaking from, like what are you speaking, is really related to how you feel. Then you would know, am I actually blaming? Am I projecting? Or am I actually expressing? So it really comes down to feeling, okay? Now, when it comes to is the external, is the other person that I'm communicating with right now, is this person blaming me, meaning they are projecting towards me, or they're projecting, or are they expressing? This also comes down to feeling something, because like if you feel something, it means it can either be trigger triggering. If they project something to you, that actually means you would feel triggered. That is a very good sign of seeing it. Okay, I have like a real life example. Now, I actually cut off the video and then resume now. And the reason is that one of my family members came home, and she was literally like, I don't know how, it's just like banging things around, and it was like so noisy. So I don't know if it was being recorded, the noises. However, I could hear it, right? And I was having I was having quite a challenging time to focus on filming. I was trying to focus to speak what I need to speak, right? And at one point I just couldn't stand it, and I just literally, I had to stop the video, and I ran out. I actually ran out. I was like, now, this is the blaming and the expressing. Okay, this is like literal right on spot example. Okay, so now please imagine I was trying so hard to focus, and the noises were like going on here and there. And so I was feeling quite frustrated, okay, in a way, internally. I felt that it's frustration. And then so the point that I was so fed up, I fed up as in I really needed to go and express myself to kind of fix the issue right there, right? I have to resolve the issue. And so I went out and I told her that I'm recording, please be like, more quiet, because I was really trying to focus. And then I was actually expressing in a way that was upset. Okay, I was upset. I was feeling upset because I was like, oh my God, I have to, because I wanted to do the video in one take. I don't want to edit it, but now I have to. I have to put these two footages back together into one video. That's extra work. You see? So that's why I felt a little bit frustrated and upset, but I really had to stop the video. However, I also felt upset. So I went out and I was speaking in a tone of frustration, as well as I was upset. And I told her, please be quiet, because I'm recording, and of course she knows I have been recording videos, and also I have told her already, like, kind of like when I'm speaking, just kind of just be more quiet, like not as noisy, like doors opening down, like closing really loudly. And so what I told her was that I can still feel my energy here, but I also added in, I told her, I know you didn't mean it. Like, I know you didn't mean it, and I understand, it's just I'm really trying to focus. So, just stay a little bit more quiet, for now. And then I could feel she said, oh, am I actually really that loud? Like, of course I could feel she is not in a good mood. Like she just came back home, and I could feel she's not in a good mood. So there's a lot of emotions in her. I can feel that, but of course I'm not tapping into it. But I also understand there might be one reason, because she's not feeling comfortable in herself, within herself. So a lot of the things that she does, including opening the doors or closing the doors, or even putting things down, everything is very loud. So it really reflects how she is feeling currently. And I totally understand that. Of course, I did not ask her anything about it at this point. So, okay. You see, what I'm saying here is, if I were to blame her, I could literally say really judgmental things, such as, if it's in the case of blaming, what could this be? It could be, I would say, hypothetically, if it's blaming, why are you always so loud when you enter the house? Why are you so not considerate? Why are you not being attentive? You're so selfish. I'm recording and you are not actually taking notes. Maybe I'm recording. Can you just be a little bit more attentive? Can you just be a little bit more considerate? Why are you always like that? You see how this could end up. Like, if this is such a conversation here, this can blow up. Because this is, or you see that the blaming here is always about, why are you doing this to me? Why are you making me feel this way? Why are you behaving this way? It's always about the other person. You see that, right? Okay, if it's in the perspective of expressing, what would that be? I'm trying to record here and I'm trying to focus, and it's really hard for me to focus because of some of the noises or the sound that you are making. But I understand you didn't mean it. It's just I want to let you know I'm recording. However, I'm feeling quite frustrated and upset because I had to stop the video and now I have to resume. So it doesn't feel good for me. So I just want to come here to let you know that kind of give it a little bit of quietness here for a while because I just need to finish it up. You see the difference between the expressing and the blaming is that in the way that we express is from I. How I feel. Okay, how I feel about it. Okay, I feel that I express truly that I feel frustrated and upset, and I told her about it. And I explained why I'm upset and frustrated, because I had to stop the video and now I have to go back and resume. You see, then that person would understand. That person would understand, even though it might not be comfortable for that person to know, but then she would understand. Because I'm not judging her. And I also understand she didn't mean to make these noises, these sounds. She didn't even know that I was recording. Right? So that's why it's important to stand from the other person's perspective as well when it comes to communication and also expressing oneself. When I express, it's the I express. I express how I feel. You know, the I, that applies to everyone. So, but when it comes to when I blame somebody, it means that I see every fault in you. You make me feel this way. There's a difference here. Okay, this one is expressing through how one feel. And this one, the blaming one, is how you are making me feel this way. You make me miserable. You make me feel sad. It's you. Now this one is like, I feel sad, it's because of this thing, as a matter of fact, so I'm just explaining to you what happened here, and now I know you didn't mean it, but I need to let you know the situation. You can already feel the energy that this one is stating as it is. It's not about the person, it's about the situation, it's about the matter of fact that's expressing. At the same time, the emotion is not being neglected because I acknowledge how I feel, and I also express and explain the reasons behind how I feel. Okay? It's okay to feel upset. It's okay to feel frustrated. We just have to understand and embrace, and also at the same time present it with matter of facts. Okay, so this is like literally the fourth part as well. You know, how to utilize the distinguishment in conversation and communication. This is actually the fourth part. So I'm going to put the third and the fourth kind of together. But now that this example is here, how do you see it now? Like if it comes to a point, how to distinguish, right? How to distinguish between the blaming and expressing. What I mentioned was about feeling. When it comes to personally, am I actually blaming somebody? You have to self-check, like, right? We have to self-check. Am I actually projecting? Am I actually blaming somebody? How would I know? Feel. If I feel that I don't want to face certain emotions within myself, say, using the example that I just said, I don't want to face that I'm frustrated and upset, then I would project it out to the other person and say, you make me feel upset and you make me feel frustrated because you make so much noises. That's blaming, because I'm not accepting my emotions as my own. Now, if it's expressing, what would that be? It would be, I feel upset and I feel frustrated because I have to cut off the video and then resume it, so there's kind of like more extra work, but that's just what it is. It's all right. It's a little bit of extra work, but it's all right. And I know she didn't mean it. And I told her about it. I know you didn't mean it. It's just I feel upset and frustrated because of that. You know, I kind of had to put the footages back together. Extra work. But it's okay. I totally acknowledge how I felt and what happened. And that's it. It's all about acknowledging. Feel. I acknowledge my feelings. And I'm not putting it out to the other person. I'm not saying it's you, it's you, it's you. No, I'm not talking about that at all. Okay, so that would be distinguishing. You know, you feel it within yourself. Am I embodying, am I embracing, acknowledging my own feelings? Okay, that is for personal. Now, how to distinguish the other, you know, from the external? Are these people, are the comments actually blaming me, or are they actually simply just expressing? How to know? How to know? Feel. Again, feel. If that person, whatever they comment, triggers me, in what way? If I feel they are trying to put burdens on me or responsibilities on me that I didn't even mean to cause anything like that. I didn't even mean to cause harm. I didn't know. And if they use the you, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Why are you telling me to do this? Why you? If they use a lot of this kind of, you make, like, it's like they're trying to say, you make me feel that way. Then most of the time, it would actually be the case of blaming. And when it comes to this situation, silence is usually quite a good tool to end any kind of conflicts like this. But not everyone can take silence easily. Some people might react even more. So the second method would be, besides silence, would be, okay, I see what you mean. Use matter of fact, okay? I see what you mean, but I didn't mean to. If they continue to, you know, project any kind of emotion or accusations out, just leave the room. Leave the chat room. Because it's not going to work. If they are not responding in a more conscious way, there's no need to continue on the conversation. Because they just want to start a fight. That's their intent at that point when they are becoming unconscious with their own emotions. So there's no need to continue. Just leave the chat room politely. And so that's it. I hope this little how to express oneself without blaming would be useful for you. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And thank you for your patience, support, and time. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.